Yo, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to a new weekly market breakdown. And as usual, I will be giving you my thoughts on what I expect the market to do this week from both a technical as well as a fundamental perspective. And if you are new to the channel, a sub would be appreciated as I provide valuable educational content on a daily basis. And if you enjoy the content, please do consider smashing that thumbs up button there as well. Now, if you followed the last breakdown that I did, you would have seen 80% of the of the direction that I have forecasted had gone exactly as anticipated, and it's time to give you guys an update. As we can see, the dollar started to rally to the upside. As I said before, the NASDAQ started to move started that move to the downside as anticipated. The Dow Jones basically first went higher, and I still couldn't expect that pullback, and gold also went exactly as anticipated. So now it's time for an update in the market. But the first thing we obviously need to do is look at the latest news that we received on Friday, which is going to further give us an indication of what we can expect going into the new week. It says here Dow X out narrow gain Friday for 10th straight positive day, longest rally. And I do want to just point out that the move of the Dow Jones to continue higher probably less to do with the dollar index and probably more to do with fundamental independent news. That says your stocks were mixed out as Friday. Traders assessed the latest corporate earnings results, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average stretched its winning streak week to 10 seasons there as well. It says here that Dow climbed 2.51% or 0.01%, and this is kind of very interesting if you look at it. For those of you that don't know, things like the S&P 500 probably move about 5% for the entire year. Crazy, eh? 5% for the year, and most of us aim to make 100% a day. So let that kind of sink in. But obviously, to make 5% a year, you need to profit from 5% a year. You obviously need to have a lot of money in there, like scammers money. You need to make the kind of money that scammers does to kind of get to that level there as well. Because, if you think about it, if you invest millions and millions in the Dow Jones or in the S&P 500 and you let it run for a year and the stock climbs about 5%, you make a good amount of money in there as well. Okay, so it says here the Dow Jones notched and just basically gained on Friday. Dow Jones was quite positive, since the Fed started pausing the interest rates there as well. Next up, we obviously know last week was a bit of a mixed week for the index. We had some positive data there. Retail sales came through negative, which negatively impacted the dollar, and then the unemployment claims then came through lower, which is indicating to us that the labor market has picked up from the last month's NFP report. This week is a very busy week for the dollar index, as we've got news basically on each given day. The most important news that we obviously need to look out for is the federal funds rate, which is the interest rate decision for the Federal Reserve. And basically where we stand now, I do anticipate the Feds to not hike the interest rates. You can see that the forecast is for the Feds to hike the interest rates by 0.25. I do anticipate the Feds to just hold off their horses and not hike the interest rate. So I do expect the Feds to not hike the interest rates, but for them to keep it at 5.25%, purely based off the historical inflation data that we received also. Now, that is the most important news that you need to basically look out for. But this week is a landmine basically for the index, and because of this, I do expect a bearish correction for the dollar index on here as well. Next up, I just want to go over some of the questions that we received there. Alan Mayer, Promo SM, can you elaborate me how to read the COT data? So if you want to read the COT data, all you basically have to do is go onto my YouTube channel, go look at the videos, and you will find it. Yeah, I can't search my own videos, but you would be able to if you search Okay, what happened to search now? You go search the videos and you type in the report. It will tell you how the, okay, that should be here somewhere. I know I've done how to read order flow, fundamental and sentiment data. Let me just see if I can find it here for you. I know I've done COT report, how to, yes, how to read order flow. So this is basically where you'll find that how to read the COT data, because it's order flow data. So can you please do a video where you're using how to analyze the market? Also for that, let me just read this where you show the how to analyze the market, including what is market structure. So I basically use market structure to analyze the market. If you've seen all of the videos that I make, it's all based off market structure. So yeah, this is a 20-minute video that I made on forex trading, market structure made simple, understanding market structure. If you go over this video, you'll know exactly how my analysis works. Can you please do a breakdown on some stocks like Tesla, Apple, Meta? You can tell me which one, but the only problem with that is in order to understand them, understand the movement, they need to be tracked individually, and I would not be able to track them individually, because that would make me want to go and understand how each company operate as a standalone. That's why I just break down the NASDAQ, and these companies are the main contributors in the NASDAQ, if that makes sense. But I can do it from a technical perspective. You just need to tell me which one. First comment, thank you for the update. Thank you. Cool. Let's go over the update quickly. Someone asked me to look at USD BTC ZAR, which we're going to do first. Also with BTC ZAR, also there's no fundamental data attached to it, so it makes it quite difficult to read, because I mostly rely on fundamental data, less of technical information, because the fundamental information, the economy is driven through fundamental information. The economy, it doesn't move because the market is sitting at support. It doesn't fall because the market's sitting at resistance, you know. It's like your life. If you get paid more, if things are going good in your life, you start going up in life. If things are coming bad for you, then you start going down. It's not because you've made a certain amount of money, now you need to go down. No, it's because you're not doing good anymore. So basically, based on the price action that I can read over here, this market's stuck between support and resistance here as well. So you got a market that had broken below this previous level of support and tested it as a resistance, and we obviously got this level acted as a resistance that is now turned support here as well. Now there's obviously only one way to trade this structure, is basically excuse me, we have to wait for either a break to the upside or a break to the downside. And just reading the market structure, the liquidity is a little bit more to the downside, that I do expect the market to continue lower to. So this is probably the move that I would more likely to go with if I do trade the Bitcoin, but unfortunately I don't. So next up, the dollar index is obviously due for a correction, printed this massive impulse. Now we also have this massive impulse to the downside, and if you take your Fibonacci from the high all the way to the low here, you can see that we yet to receive a 0.32 pullback. However, we also have this impulse to the upside, and we do expect a pullback to at least a 0.382. Now if you take your Fibonacci from the low to the high, what we do have here is we got a potential market probably to go slightly a little bit higher into that area there. So I do expect the dollar to maybe just give a liquidity wipe and then start that correction to the downside to this level over here, and then from there we can obviously once again monitor price action. I'll obviously give you guys an update again probably around Wednesday When is this coming out? On Wednesday. Yeah, I'll make another update on Wednesday on this, because that's the most important news event that I am waiting for. The NASDAQ, I do expect this continuation to the downside to take further place. Let me just close this. So I still expect the NASDAQ. I just need to see if we had a gap where the market had left the gap. Yeah, we've got this gap over here, but we on lower time frames, there's still some more room for the market to move to the downside. So I do expect this continuation for the market to continue lower, and then from there we can obviously once again monitor the price action. Again on Wednesday, the Dow Jones has been very bullish. We obviously know that, like I said before, that we have this liquidity move that we can expect the Dow Jones to obviously go and clear, because we not only have this as a confirmation, but we also have that level over there. So once again, I do expect the Dow Jones to clear that liquidity going into next week before we potentially see any continuation. So I would wait for the Dow Jones to get to that level there first before I start looking for selling opportunities in the market. Gold's probably going to correct itself. Why? Firstly, gold had broken above resistance. We had resistance, the market broke above resistance, it's now back tested as support. The market also printed an impulse. After an impulse, you expect a correction. The market had started this correction that we have over here, and if you take the Fibonacci from the low to the high, we had a 78.6 pullback that the market had provided to us. The one thing I would do is just be very careful if you are going to trade this either on Tuesday or Wednesday, because the Federal Reserve is announcing that interest rate decision. However, I probably do expect the market to first just do small little moves, because it's very high impact news coming through this week. So normally before high impact news are released, there's always a lot of uncertainty where the market moves sideways until that news comes out, and then we eventually get that massive breakout to either the upside or the downside. Guys, that is it from my side. Thank you for your time, thank you for the support, and as always, cheers for the years.